Oh, this is flying into Cusco. So yeah, it's kind of a spooky flight in here. It's in this valley, and the plane has to fly in through the valleys. You're looking out the side of the windows at mountains next to the wing. You come in and you land. So you fly from Lima, which is sea level, and you land at Cusco, which is 11,500 feet. You get out the plane in a deep, because your planes are pressurized to say 4,000 or 5,000 feet, sometimes 6,000 or 7,000 feet on the older airlines. So they gradually dial the pressure up to that. That's why your ears pop and stuff. And what they do is they will then try and acclimatize. As you're coming in to land, they'll slowly be changing the pressure of the plane. So when you're coming in on approach here, they're dialing up the pressure, they're dialing the pressure down to be like at 11,500 feet. So you can imagine it's like everyone all of a sudden has to pee because your bladder, it's like there's less pressure on everything. So your bladder expands. And it's just like, oh, and then you just walk out of the plane where an hour ago you were at sea level, now you're at 11,500 feet with very little in the way of introduction. And it's like, oof, it sort of hits you when you get to Cusco. So yeah, this is Naupa Huaca here. It's this massively carved cave with this big triangular roof. Funnily enough, the angles of this roof match exactly, I think, the middle pyramid. Exact same angle.
But he's coming up right now. I don't know if you meet him halfway there.
So, and then this wall here, you see this. So this is Inca. This structure here is all Inca when they've basically emulated the same alcoves, the same walls that you see carved into these massive blocks of bluestone, which is granite. And you have this giant alcove that's carved in on the side there. This is brutal too. We did this as soon as we landed. We drove out here, and then you got to hike up this damn hill.
Hi Ben. Hey dude.
You recording?
Yeah.
Dude. This is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
Isn't it? It's crazy, huh? Yeah.
The location of it, so it's different than I imagined being up in this nook. Like in the way you can't see it from below.
Yeah.
When you come up here, I thought
So have this crazy doorway portal thing that's carved into the wall, and then you have this shaped stone here, which is just amazing. Blue stone that's been, and this is Spanish damage. So this is them trying to figure out, see if there's like rock, I don't know, like gold in it or something. They tried to blow it apart. Amazingly well done. And then you have the Inca work right next to it. You can see that there's just obvious as day the construction, the differences in masonry capability and technique. This is all straight lines and angles. Beautiful sight.
Look at the carving. Yeah. Sorry, in your way.
No way that will come with you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Everyone's huffing and puffing in this place. You got to haul up. Everybody does climbing up here. Although Jimmy's pretty fit, he'd probably just dance
Isn't
up
it?
there.
This place is special.
Although it's all high level. It is all high altitude stuff.
There.
Yeah.
Would that mean that this was kind of like floor level?
Yeah, it looks like it to me. Well, the whole ceiling.
And it goes back further, but it's kind of been covered
They actually
in.
made this ceiling. Like some of it's fallen off due to earthquake damage, but they had carved this entire shape. It may well have gone.
Are these two blocks
Back
leaning
further.
on each other, or is
No, this is part of the bluestone outcropping.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this one space. It's like this one sort of extrusion of bluestone in. Otherwise, I don't know what the rest of the hills are made from. It's not all bluestone though, but it's just like this one extrusion of natural granite that came up, and this is where they chose. It's like literally they picked the hardest rock around in one spot on the mountain where this is to actually make this. This to me is like this is like a socket into the earth, and it's like this. I don't understand what it's for, but it kind of does scream something functional to me. Was this my second or third trip there with footage? It's probably the third or fourth time I'd been to Peru. I'm definitely going to go next year. Well, this year, 24, definitely. I mean, I don't know. That's the plan. The plan is to go down and not to do a tour, to just go down there and I've got some contacts down there. I want to test out some things, work with some people, try and line up some more contacts, and basically put together a trip. Maybe go down with the Snake Bros or something, and we'll just go and spend some time down there and put together our ideas for how we want to run that, because we do definitely want to do. I mean, I've had people at me for years to say, when are we going to Peru? So I do want to put that together, but I want to make sure it's done right. You know, I did Turkey without kind of any preview trip, and I didn't really know all the people I was working with. I kind of took a gamble on that. Worked out, I think. There was some bumps with it, with the people that we worked with down there, and I don't want that to happen in Peru. I kind of learned a lesson there. I definitely need to do a preview trip where I go down and just make sure everything's going to run smooth, you know? I'm blessed with an incredible team in Egypt. Like, the guys in Egypt, I mean, Yusuf's a superstar. Love that guy. Like, I couldn't ask for a better guide, and he's so good at what he does. But then there's people don't, I think, when you go on these trips, you understand it, but what Mo and the Select Egypt tour group does, like, these are the guys that make it run. Like, they just are on top of everything. They look after people so well, and it's just they make it run smoothly, and they're fantastic. And I just don't have to do anything except, like, put the itinerary together, and that's it. You know, I'm not herding cats and stuff. I do a little bit of that, like a little bit I help, but I'm not counting people on buses and things. So, you know, the logistics guys in Egypt are amazing. And there's, as much as Yusuf's a part of it, Mo is like as big a part of that. Like, between those two, like, I couldn't ask for a better set of people to work with in Egypt. Obviously, a big part of that's also Ildi and the Komet School, who handle all of the communications, and they take the bookings. Like, I'm not a tour company. I don't handle money. I don't take bookings. I don't have the bandwidth to respond to everybody's email, like 100 emails that they send, asking questions and confirming things and figuring out how they're going to pay money and all that stuff. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I need a similar kind of arrangement for Peru. Like, I need to have people that I know are able to do that and handle it, and to meet people's expectations or exceed them, and make sure it all runs smoothly, and we go to the right hotels, and it's comfortable, it's a vacation. Like, I told, you can do stuff cheaply. Like, you can go down there on your own and stay in hostels and cheap accommodation and rough it and find your own restaurants. But I think for a lot of people that are willing to do these types of tours in a group, it's just, I'd rather make it more like a vacation, where it's a bit more luxurious. Like, it's comfortable. You looked after. I think that's important. So, at least that's the way I want to do it. So,
earthquake, so this all filled in. We don't really know what's back here. You can climb back up in there if you want, but it's just bats and it peters out. I've been up there 8 years ago.
Oh, there's definitely more in this cave. Yeah, we don't know what.
Looks about the same.
Has Yusuf visited any South America?
Go ahead.
Yes, he has. He's been to Peru once or twice, I think now. I'd like to, and in fact, if I do a trip, I'd like to bring him. For sure. I've told people this story before too. Like, I started doing. I did my first tours as a way to do special permissions, and that's still kind of my basis for doing it. Is to do to get into special permissions, right? That's kind of what I wanted to do. Because I can't afford the 5 or 6 or whatever, $10,000, however much, depends on the site. Like, there's thousands of dollars to get access to a lot of these sites. I don't have the resources to do that myself, but if you take a group, you can spread that cost across everyone in the group, and everybody gets to experience it. So I build these trips around the special permissions, which are basically me wanting to go research a certain place or see it. That's how that started. But then, I did 1 or 2, and I'm like, man, this is such a good time. Like, it's so cool to get a group of people together, and admittedly, my content's kind of niche, so you have to be down the rabbit hole a bit to sign up on one of my trips, right? I think it's people that, it's not your average tourist, right? People that, there's lots and lots of people that go to Egypt every year, and they go in front of the Great Pyramid, take a photo, maybe walk into the King's Chamber, go, wow, that's cool, and leave. And then they can go and post on Instagram that they went there or whatever, right? There's millions of those sorts of people, but then I think you have to be a bit more involved and interested in the topic to sign up on one of my tours. And then when you get a bunch of 30 or 40 or 50 people together like that, it's fantastic. Like everybody's interested, everybody's engaged, everybody's got ideas. You know, that's just that part of it, and then showing people this stuff up close and personal, usually for the first time for them. It's just a good feeling. Like, I love sharing that with people. That's what Yusuf loves to do. It's literally I've told Yusuf forever to like start YouTube and do that stuff, and he's not interested. Like he just wants to show people this stuff. He really likes to share his knowledge and share his understanding and all of his experience with people. And I mean, I love meeting everyone and making friends and just sharing that experience with everyone. I love watching people's reactions to these sites. It's great, you know. So
That's it. It's literally just for
Let me grab it. It's part of the bluestone.
yeah, this thing here, so perfect. Like this is what I'm trying to get to the whole time. So you can see the difference, right? You can see the alcoves carved into this idol down here, and then you see these shapes, these alcove shapes all over the Coricancha and other megalithic stonework. But then you look at the work that's here, and the thing that's the window behind me, like the socketed bloody altar, whatever you want to call it. Then this bluestone carving here, the whole cave itself, and then you have this, which is made from local stone. It's piled up. They use mud mortar. They've obviously put some plaster or mud, I guess mud plaster on the outside to smooth it over in parts that's then since come off. But this is Inca. Like this is clear imitation. You know, like they knew. Like these people worked with stone. Like they knew what they were looking at and probably were like, "How the f did this happen? Like the gods or the whatever's made this."
Here's the obvious thing. This is the Inca.
Yeah.
This is the Inca. Respect and imitation of this over here, right?
Right, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, and also over here, down the end here. Yeah,
But
Could be, I mean-
somebody came up here 10,000 years ago or whatever, carved this stuff in there with a little fancy machine. And for one reason or another, whether it was
You actually see on the other side of this, I saw it briefly there for a second,
carved this stuff in there with a little fancy.
right here. You see there's something else was under here, and this whole wall was carved along the bottom here. Maybe it's broken off or it was knocked off or something happened, but there was obviously something else over here. And then you see more Inca work behind it.
Machine. And the type of rock that was in there and take it down.
Yeah, like,
Any tool marks here? Yes, so you do in the Coricancha, you see tool marks. I don't know of any specific at Naupa Huaca. And then, of course, you've got, this stuff in the streets of Cusco, which is also really cool. There's Brian talking. And you see the Inca work on top. Colonial Spanish on top of that. Yeah, Cusco is such a cool place. See the scoop marks here. So tool marks. You do see, like, the pounding where like, the very fine... So I do think some of this must have been done with pounding just to shape the outsides of the stones. And you can see some of that on there. But it's very fine work that gets down on these insides. It's not pounding that shaped the mating surfaces, because around the corner from this or on another street, some of these blocks have shifted and you can actually see the sides of them where they mate with other stones. And it's insane. Super smooth and just so accurate through the full depth of that connection between the stones. It's very cool. And complex shapes, right? Not all straight lines, but curvatures.
You have to have this building built from nothing. So that's why that one is pure Inca. This one is
Yeah, the whole mountain has an episode of destruction. Exactly, right? I know exactly how you feel. You see the surface is spalled off up here like it has
the
a
lips and the inside joins where the stones have come out.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to film.
Reconstruction by the
Yeah, so here we
Right,
go. We're going to
well,
see
yeah,
some of
they
it
put
here,
back together. Right.
where you can see the inside surfaces of these stones.
within their little
Like here?
capabilities, right?
Right.
Like this is where it would have mated to another stone. Just these perfectly formed lips. See these? It's just like they were doing really precise work with these mating surfaces, one way or the other, and they all have this lip on them. You see it? It's like it curves up and down.
Smaller scale,
A
right?
little bit smaller,
here.
right?
Yeah.
We'll see the same thing at Sexay.
I can't wait.
Right here, look, I love that shot there. Look at this. Just there's big pieces that are missing from in here. Yeah.
I mean, this is mind blowing.
Like up here. It's kind of weird. Like, it makes you think it's formed, right? It does seem like it's been extruded or formed or something. That's where your logic goes. I can understand the argument, people saying, oh, they cast these things, but that ain't how this type of stone works, man. Just that's an unknown technique. If that's the case, it's very unknown. And then why are there like shaping marks on the outsides? Just the accuracy and the, this is lifting these stones up and putting them next to each other. Is like, you're just gonna do that 1,000 times to get the fit right. Might as well make straight lines much easier. Up here like that there. And you see how it's been put back together by the Inca. Like they've put stuff back where they could and then filled it in with other stuff where they couldn't. This is typical Inca kind of reconstruction work. See this? So the local stone all around it. This is what they did. This is all Inca reconstruction here. Just all these broken pieces of these stones they've inserted in and just filled in just to fit it back together. Some of them pretty deep. I mean, some of them are, they might go in another foot maybe. I don't know. Yeah, this is all rebuilt. I see more of it here. Just very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we definitely need to get back into some South American
Everything's curved, and then you just get that
videos. I'd love to do like a video on this. I mean, it's been a long time since I've really talked about this stuff. I mean, they lift blocks like this, sure. I mean, yeah, you can do stuff like this. I think where and there are accounts of them trying to move some of the big heavy stones. So if you go to Sacsayhuaman, I mean, you have stones there that are like a couple hundred tons, and even bigger. There's like 1,000+ ton stones that are allegedly ones that were moved at some point. The lazy stone is one of them. Is a name for one of them. Where's this? Macchu Picchu. Can tell by these assholes that are standing here that were harassing us while we were there. We did get sort of booted out of Macchu Picchu on this trip. Then you have like the Hunan Pachas work here, and then you have the megalithic stuff, and then this is, see the dial thing is up here. The very strange I think this is it here. So Inca work. This is probably all pretty decent Inca work. You have megalithic work on top. You've got these these are all carved stones from something. This is, God, I forget the name of it. It's a remarkable site. It's Quirmillary rock or something like this. Why were they being dicks? Masks and stuff. We had some pretty rabid anti-mask. It was in the height of COVID mania in Peru, where you had to wear 2 masks in the airports. You had to wear a face shield and a mask on the train to Macchu Picchu. They were completely bananas with it. And then we had some people that were, pretty much anti-masking, sort of don't believe the hype people on the tour, and then they were just harassing these dudes, and they didn't want to be harassed about it. And it's just like some of these people on these sites, when they're given the ability to exercise a little bit of power on anyone, they're going to do it. And they were insisting, and eventually they just chased us out of there. I mean, they called the cops, and the cops were like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" The cops were like, "Come on, like this is nonsense." They're nothing. I mean, they're not going to do anything to you. You can't do anything to you, but it's like you give these people a little bit of power, and they're going to use it, and that's what happened. COVID transfer from andesite. Yeah, I don't know. So this is Hunan Pacha, right? This is the Inca, what they would call the Inca thrones. It's the monolithic, like it's the living rock carvings that I think is very old, some of this stuff. But this is quite remarkable. And you see this all over the place. And you see it done in work and in stone that's really heavily eroded. Like the Temple of the Moon, Zone X, stuff around Sacsayhuaman, all around Cusco. The top of it is built up of this stuff. And that stuff's generally the lowest layer. The bottom layer, then you have the megalithic work, the big, really impressive megalithic work. Then on top of that, you have the Inca work. So it's Hanan Pacha, Urun Pacha, and Ikun Pacha. It's the three levels of the world that Jesus Gamar and his father came up with a theory for all of that. So, peak COVID was insane, yeah. Yeah, it was insane. I don't think it's like that anymore. That's the other thing I want to check out. Like, I swore never to go back until they had opened everything up again. Because it wasn't just that they'd also, like Sacsayhuaman, and they'd closed off massive areas of the site. Like, it's like this counterintuitive thing where this same thing they did with the stores, right? It's like, well, we're going to shut all the stores except for a couple stores. And then we're going to funnel everybody into these couple of stores. So everybody's in close contact, because that makes sense. And they did the same thing on these sites. It's like, well, people are still going to... We want the revenue. We want to bring them into the site, but we're going to close off 90% of the site and funnel people through these little roped-off areas where it's just it's a pressed crowd of people. That makes sense, you know? I mean, it's really stupid, but that's what they did. So I do want to go and... I do want to go down there and make sure that, okay, the sites are open. You know, Bolivia's open, that we can see the parts of the sites we want to see. Otherwise, it's like I'm not going to take people down to Peru unless we can do all that stuff. So, I hope you all enjoyed that video. I'm trying to make these things a bit more of a regular upload to my second channel here, the UnchartedX live channel. So please do consider subscribing to this channel. That really helps me out. Big thanks to Dub Selector for taking the time to edit these videos. Very much appreciate his help on this. Also, if you want to catch me live over on Twitch, I am streaming 2-3 times a week. I generally announce when I'm going to stream in my Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, take a look below in the comments. There'll be a link to the Discord. And if you like the work that I'm doing, please do consider supporting the channel through the value for value model. There's lots of ways that you can support the work that I'm doing. It's all outlined on my website. It's unchartedx.com/support. We'll catch you in the next one.